We're talking here today also about the youth. How old were you when it happened, when the Jews were expelled from Gush Katif?
I was 18 years old and I was just finishing high school. So in all the turmoil of finishing my matriculation exams, I had to deal with the fact that I might be losing my home and my community would be destroyed. And it was not easy struggling with that on the one hand and doing my tests like any other high school student on the other hand.
And back then, we were a lot about the families that were being uprooted, the parents, the leaders of the community. Where were the youths then? Were they part of the struggle? Were they, just trying to have fun with what's left?
Well, youth take everything very seriously. And we had to, on the one hand, do our tests and realize that our future would still be ahead of us. And so we needed to do our matriculation exams. And we were not given an easier ride because of the fact that there was going to be a disengagement. We also had to deal with all the Arab terror. And some of our friends and neighbors, people that we knew and loved, my own teachers, were killed. And that made everything very, very painful and terrible. And we also wanted to fight and struggle and try and prevent the expulsion plan from happening.
And when it actually happened, was there, especially with youth, this sometimes happens that, a feeling of it's not worth it, let's forget about everything. What kind of feeling was there after the struggle didn't succeed, so to speak?
Well, everyone takes it, a different way. We're not one big people. People treat everything on a different level personally. I can speak for myself, and we're going to have a panel here with different youth speaking from their own personal angle. I can speak for myself. I had just finished 12th grade and was supposed to do national service, which I was supposed to do in Gush Katif, which there was no longer. So I was a bit at a loose end, and I was now in a caravilla, and I was called up about a week later. And the Shirut Leumi National Service Coordinator asked me a bit hesitantly, tell me, is it okay? Can you come and work? Basically.
Asking if you want to really contribute at this point to the state, to the nation.
Yes, she was speaking a bit in eggshells, and my response, living as I was now in a very cramped caravilla, 90 square meters, and we were 7 children, which was a very different living conditions from what we had beforehand. I said, yes, I want to get out of here. So I started my national service year, and it was not what I had thought would happen.
In the big picture, the fact that you were part of this struggle, the fact that you were part of this trauma, is this something that on the long run contributes to you, contributes to your values?
It is definitely part of my identity. Even now, 10 years later, when I'm asked who I am, where do I come from? I am Shifra Shamron. I'm from Neve Kalim. It's a huge part of who I am, and that's why today, as we commemorate Gush Katif 10 years later, I am here in Gan Eital. This is a very special, meaningful day. The women of Gush Katif have all gathered today to attend some very special speeches and to reunite and meet and greet and see each other, since we've all been dispersed from the north to the south.
It's a lot about the togetherness. We're seeing communities that succeeded to stay together, of course, in a better situation, and those who weren't. That's really the big trauma here, right?
Yes, there's new communities, some that have kept the Gush Katif name, like Gan Eital and Netzer Chazani. There's communities that have been strengthened by Gush Katif people, like Nitzan. And even though we are dispersed, the Gush Katif network is still strong, and that's why a day like today has gathered so many Gush Katif women.